Hi guys, it's Holly here at Faces, and today I am with the lovely Yasmin, who is the CEO of Dermapharm Aesthetics. Yasmin, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're
Hello.
more than welcome. So let's just kick things off by talking a bit about your business then and your situation. So do you want to just talk to us about your background? Obviously, you're a pharmacist, and then how you got into the aesthetics field, and how you got to
Yeah,
where you are
of course.
today.
So by profession, I'm a pharmacist and I'm also an independent prescriber, and I've been a pharmacist for quite some time now. And I've always had kind of like a keen interest in aesthetics. But when I first qualified as a pharmacist, it wasn't something that a lot of pharmacists were kind of going into. It was kind of almost unheard of that pharmacists were doing aesthetics at that time.
Yeah.
Things changed around about 2015. Health Education England had an input into things, and then obviously pharmacists were a little bit more recognised as kind of going into aesthetics. But I was kind of stuck in my comfort zone of being in community pharmacy. I was a pharmacist branch manager. I loved my job role. I loved the team that I worked with. And even though I was working like 40 hours plus a week, it didn't really bother me too much. I was kind of like, right, okay, I do want to go into aesthetics. I was a little bit kind of scared about taking that jump into it.
Yeah.
So I just continued on for years and years and years. And then come 2019, I became a mum for the first time,
Oh.
and my little boy, he changed everything for me. My whole outlook on life changed. And I know there's a lot of women out there who become mums and they can relate to this. When you have children, everything changes. Work, life, your social life, everything, every factor of your life completely changes. So when my little boy arrived in 2019, I was on maternity leave and I took out a good 13 months. And that was when I was kind of like, do you know what? It really made me kind of reevaluate everything about work and home balance, life type of thing. And I was like, do you know what? I really don't think I could go back to working full time or not having control of the number of hours that I want to work. And I do need to do something different. And I kind of like rewound back to the times where I was like, you know what, I wanted to do aesthetics. This is the time
Yeah.
now that I can do it. I've got the
Yeah.
time, I've got the support. Let me go and do it.
Yeah. But it was just
So
like niggling at you. Like it's always been like
yeah,
in the back of your head, you're like, maybe the universe is
constantly,
telling me to do this now.
constantly, and I was like, you know what, I don't think I could go back to working full time. Like I need to do something. So, and like the rest is really history. I mean, I enrolled onto a course with Dermamedical. I did my foundation and advanced course with them, and I was like, I absolutely love this.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. So as a pharmacist, I think we are a kind of like untapped resource. We have a lot of clinical like skill sets in various different things. And I didn't want to leave being a pharmacist behind because I love being a pharmacist. That's a part of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, this is something that I can do, that I'm going to love, but also be a pharmacist at the same time.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think I mean, I was predominantly in community pharmacy. I originally trained in hospital pharmacy, and then I went off into the world of community pharmacy. And you talk to people all day long. You do consultations at every area of the pharmacy. And in pharmacy, there's no limit on the number of people that you give advice to. And there's no limit on the number of minor ailments that you see, whether they're skin conditions or whether they're cold or flu, etc., things like that. So you do build up a really good skill set for consultations and knowing how to speak to people, getting to know people, and building that loyalty and trust within them first few minutes.
Yes.
Which is an ideal thing to have in aesthetics, because everybody who walks through your door is coming to you for a reason, and it's normally a very, very personal reason.
Yeah.
People don't just want to have an aesthetic treatment done just because of the sake of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. But in the pharmacy, like, I mean, I've never worked in a pharmacy, but when I've been in to like pick up a prescription, they're all running around. There's people. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so
Yeah.
stressful. Unlike aesthetics, you don't know who's going to come through the door that day. You don't know what type of like problems you're going to have to face. So I think I bet it just makes this job seem easy.
Oh,
Like,
so much. And it's like, and you get given that time when you're under, when you're in community pharmacy, you're under a certain pressure to get things done within a certain time interval. Whereas in this clinical setting of aesthetics, you kind of can give people that one-to-one and that time to understand them and talk to them, and to kind of know what treatment they want and why they want it, and then obviously work to their expectations to what you feel is going to work best for them.
yeah, absolutely.
And obviously exceed them expectations if you can. And and then obviously come 2019, you know, I did all my training, etc., things like that. And I'll be celebrating so many years of setting up the business this week. Actually, it's
Oh,
almost, yeah.
amazing.
So
So is it 4 years then?
so,
4 years?
no, sorry, it's been 3 years. I did it the
3 years.
following year after my maternity. So, and honestly, 3 years have just flown by. Absolutely, just flown
Oh,
by. And I feel as if I'm still learning new things all the time.
yeah,
Because that's what aesthetics is, isn't it? There's always innovation. There's always new things, new products out
yeah,
there, new
yeah,
treatments. It's always keeping you busy.
yeah,
And I'm used to that because as a pharmacist, you were always learning new things. There was always
yeah,
new services that you need to keep on top of. So I'm used to that kind of fast pace of learning.
yeah.
And do you know what? As weird as it sounds, I used to love injecting people. When I was a pharmacist, I mean, I was branded the flu queen because I would
Oh,
inject. I would do that many flu jabs. Shout out to my team at Catcourt Road, Liz and Shirley, the technicians. They were phenomenal, and they supported me so much when I was a pharmacist, and they still support me now that I'm in a complete different industry.
oh,
And I used to honestly, we used to just like we would hit 1,000 flu jabs within a couple of months, just because it was all to do with how we welcomed people and how
yeah,
we explained how beneficial the flu vaccine would be for them.
yeah,
And I look back now, and at the time I didn't really realise why we were so successful at what we
yeah.
did. And now I realise, now I'm here doing
Oh
this. I'm
my
so
God. I
good.
love that. So you've gone from the flu job queen to the anti-wrinkle queen.
Yes,
Absolutely love
exactly.
that. But I love how, obviously there's so many aspects which are similar, like you've mentioned, and so many skills which are so essential with running your aesthetics business. But it's so great that you can look back and be like, I've taken everything that I've learned from, working within a community pharmacy and literally implementing it into my own business, which clearly is working, which is
Honestly, Holly,
incredible.
the only regret I have is not doing it sooner. I
Oh,
really wish. I look back on the last decade, and I was so much kind of caught up in my comfort zone of being a community pharmacist. I do wish I had done it
yeah.
earlier.
But you
Um,
said you loved your job anyway. So,
I did, yes, I did. I
yeah, so
did.
you did
I
love
loved
it.
the
And
people I
I
worked
think,
with, and I did love that
and
journey.
timing is everything, I think, anyway. So,
So everything
don't
happened
regret.
at the right time.
So with regards to treatments then, is there a specific sort of treatment that you really specialize in, or what kind of treatments are your clients after at
So
the moment?
at the moment, I think I kind of have like a top three that I would say that are really popular at the moment. PRP, platelet-rich plasma, is
Yeah,
a really popular one. And I have a huge client base that has that for kind of hair loss treatments.
yeah.
Also, vampire facials is a really popular one. Anti-wrinkle treatments will always be in the
Always.
top. Everybody loves the anti-wrinkle
Yeah.
treatments. So that is also one of my favourites. And with winter approaching, and I think there's a lot of advertisements based around skin boosters.
Yeah.
Everybody loves skin boosters, and it's quite strange because I've gone from doing loads of dermal filler treatments to actually doing various different treatments now, more about skin, and
Yeah.
like kind of the benefits of skin boosters. Clients love it, and it
Yeah.
benefits such a huge age group, I would say, from
Yeah.
kind of your young clients
Definitely.
to your more mature skin as well. There is something there for everyone. So
Yeah.
really, they're my three top ones at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And it's so good with the PRP. That's very much like the medical, like
Yeah.
pharmacy type, but that's probably the worst way to describe it. But you know what I mean?
No,
It's like,
you know what? I love that you've said that, because when I explain it to people, I do go down to like cellular level with it, and it's almost like a little science lesson going on, talking about kind of the growth factors that you can
yeah,
get from platelet-rich plasma, and then also my other kind of my pharmacist head comes back on, and I'm like I give lifestyle advice, diet advice, things
yeah,
about vitamins and what they can do to improve their health,
yeah.
and I switch back into
I
pharmacist
love
mode.
it. I love that. And also I think it gives you so much more credibility as a practitioner to be able to actually advise on those things and
Oh,
build
of
that
course,
trust
of course. And that was
100%.
one of the key things that I always wanted to keep hold of and to be able to utilize is my clinical expertise. I still want to provide them in every aesthetic treatment that I offer and do. And it's
Yeah,
kind of that little like kind of edge that I have when I offer treatments, that I do it not from just like, right, okay, you're going to have this treatment done and these are the results that you can expect. There's a lot more in that journey, from the consultation to the treatment to the aftercare, that I can provide for the
yeah.
clients.
100%.
And I love doing that. I love it.
Yeah, I love that as well, because I think with aesthetic treatments, excuse me, a lot of clients kind of see aesthetics or see like anti-wrinkle or dermal filler as like a quick fix.
Yes.
And so I think actually educating them on the skin, lifestyle choices, all of those things, the results that they're going to get from their aesthetic treatments, if they take care of other aspects of their appearance or their health, are going to be so much better.
Well, you've totally summarised that so well. That's exactly what I say to people, that
Yeah,
you can not. I mean, you can only get so much out of aesthetic treatments, but if you kind of put that energy bit into it as well, and you make lifestyle changes, and you use the right products, you drink enough water, you stay well hydrated, you do the diet, exercise, etc., you will get so much more out of the treatments that you
yeah,
have.
yeah.
And that's not like that.
And that's similar to like medication as well, isn't it? You know, like antidepressants, for example, they're going to work better if you're making better choices to help with your mental health. I feel like we digressed onto something else now, but you know, I know someone who takes antidepressants, and obviously it's really difficult for her, but she also doesn't help herself by, you know, trying to improve certain aspects of her
Of
life
course.
and that kind of thing. And you have to work with it, don't you? And it's
And,
really
and I do, whenever I do a consultation with someone, I do like to have them complete the consent form when they're with me, so we can discuss each area of it. And you know, there's a huge population that is taking antidepressants, and it's something that I always touch on. If somebody fills that in on the form, I will go through extra information, not kind of targeted at them to say, oh, they're on antidepressants and they should have this, that, and the other. It's more about giving extra advice and extra support for that moment of time that they're in here with me. And I think it is vital that you do that, because people have their ups and downs, and you don't know what somebody's going through. When somebody comes to you, the best thing you can do is offer kindness and support, even if you're just talking to them for 10 minutes. You should make that person feel like they're the most important person in the world, and that they are important and that they are special, and also give them an opportunity to speak about any concerns that they have. Mental health is so important, and it is ignored. And I think in this industry, we need to have a much deeper understanding of mental health. Body dysmorphia is a huge thing, and you need to be aware of that in aesthetics. But also things like depression, anxiety, you know, not having the confidence in themselves, all them other aspects that come under the umbrella of mental health. We need to be able to address them as well and give the support that we can.
Definitely.
And you build like an unspoken bond with your clients once you kind of have that level of understanding, and you are able to say all the right things and make them feel the best that they can. And I think that's why I've built up such a huge loyal client base, is because I give each of my clients that time. It's not just kind of, oh, you're here, you're having this done, that's it. You know,
that's the thing.
we don't speak again.
It's the whole experience from the moment they book in to after they've had that treatment. Because I say this all the time as an aesthetics practitioner, you know, this is your job, it's what you do day in, day out. But I think sometimes it's important for practitioners to sometimes remember that appointment might be the highlight of someone's week, their month, even their year. You know, they might be having a horrible time at work, stressing out at home, got loads of kids, like really struggling. So that hour that you, or half an hour you're going to spend with them, is so much more than just the treatment and making them feel good.
It goes well beyond that. And then it's nice to always kind of like, obviously the Faces app is absolutely brilliant, and I know we'll talk about this in a little while. And the one thing I love about it is even kind of the aftercare documents that get emailed out afterwards. The information just kind of supports what I've said to them in clinic. They've got it all in writing, and they've got it in an email, so it's not going to go anywhere. So there's so much more to it from the moment they're in here to the point that they leave. You need to leave a lasting impact on your clients, a positive one. Definitely.
100%. And just touching on the body dysmorphia side of things, obviously it's always been an issue, but I think particularly with social media and expectations, it is a real issue. But I don't know whether you might know this, you might not, but we also have a body dysmorphia consent form on Faces. So you can either send that to all of your clients as like a standard, or I think for anyone who's watching, if you've don't know about it, if you've got a client where you think, I don't really feel comfortable giving this treatment, I'm not sure if if I should, based on, you know, what they're saying, it's a good idea to get them to fill that in, and then you can make a decision.
Definitely. And it's not just protecting you as a practitioner, it's also protecting your client as
Yeah,
well. And
definitely.
making sure that whatever treatment they're going to have from you or whatever's going to happen afterwards, that you're giving them the best that you can. Definitely.
Yeah. And if that means turning them away, that means turning them away.
Yeah, you sometimes do. You do have to say no to clients, and you're doing it for their best interest.
Yes.
This industry, you shouldn't be always money led. And I think that's the thing with pharmacy, being a pharmacist, and all pharmacists say this, we are kind of naturally more sided to patient safety. Patient safety is the most important thing as a pharmacist. You don't think about anything else. All you think about is that patient. So even though I refer to people that come to me as clients, I often kind of in my head think of them as patients that are coming to me. That's how I treat them. So you do have to say no. You have to say no, and it's hard at first convincing people and explaining to people, but it's something that you build confidence in as you kind of develop your skills, etc., and it does get easier with time. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I speak to practitioners a lot who struggle with that, because you don't want to offend the client by saying, you know, you can't, and also you don't want, you know, they've come to get the treatment, and so turning them away, you don't want them to then feel more upset that the fact they can't get this treatment. But I think you, like you say, putting their safety at the forefront of everything, and you know, it's your duty of care to make that decision, you know.
Totally, yeah.
So moving on to the Faces app then. So obviously you've used Faces for quite some time, Yasmin. How would you say Faces has helped with your business growth, but also with the organizational point of view as well?
It just makes everything so much easier. Like everything is there in one app, and you don't need to kind of go anywhere to do anything. I mean, I was introduced to Faces not straight away when I first set up, when I did my initial training. I did some additional training with a lovely lady in Bolton called Ruth, who owns Dermapharm. And I remember going there to do kind of like skin booster training and other things to add on to my clinic. And she was using Faces, and she was like, look, she goes, don't use paper documents because they're very hard to store over time, you need to keep them, etc. This is the app that I use. Take a look at it, download it and see what you think. So I downloaded it and I was like, my gosh, like, why did I not know about this earlier? It makes everything so much easier. And being a prescriber as well, you have so many links to so many different pharmacies on Faces, and setting up an account with them is so easy. It gets done really, really quickly. You have access to, I don't know, I've lost count of how many pharmacies are on there.
I don't even know. I think there's 14. Like, we've got so many.
I keep thinking in my head there's 17, but there might be 14.
No, there might be 17 at this point. I don't know.
I remember when I had the phone call from yourselves, and I spoke to this lovely lady there, and she was like, oh, I'll help you set up your accounts. So I gave her all the details, checked my registration details, etc. I'm on the GPAT register as an independent prescriber, and that was it. And then honestly, it just makes life so much easier in terms of consent forms. That's the biggest thing for me. The consent form, you can edit them, you can add questions, you can take things out, you can adapt them consent forms to work around you in your clinic setting. And then the other thing is ordering prescriptions. It's just so straightforward and easy, and it can be done in like just a few clicks, and you put in the details, you put your client details in, and it's done. And the pharmacies get that kind of direct access to it, etc., and things like that. And before you know it, the next day you have your order here. I've never had any hiccups, and I would say that I don't think I would ever divert away from
Good.
Absolutely
staying
brilliant.
with us now forever.
And do you know, to be honest, I mean, I remember contacting you guys some time ago about potentially having a booking system, and at that time you didn't have one. But you do now, so that's great news. But it is just so easy. And then obviously you get the aftercare document, which you can have emailed over to your clients. There's nothing about Faces that I can say in any negative light at all. It does everything that an aesthetic practitioner will want it to do. And as a pharmacist who loves paperwork, who loves organisation, we like checklists, we like ticky box exercises, we love all of that. this is everything, absolutely everything. And what I also love about this is the fact that you can make one phone call if you need support, and there's always somebody on the other line to give you the help that you need, which is absolutely brilliant as well. Because I think sometimes when you use certain programs and you get stuck on something, you don't have that actual person to talk to, whereas with Basic, there's somebody behind everything that you can speak to and help with. So that's an added bonus. And you can kind of connect with other people. I mean, I am a prescriber and I'm listed as a prescriber on there. So I've had discussions with other practitioners, kind of even just for support or help with kind of prescriptions, which is really good as well. Really, really good.
Yeah, 100%. No, that testimonial was so nice. I was thinking, I'm so proud of faces when you said
it is honestly, and I mean, whenever I have spoken to other fellow pharmacists who are looking to go into aesthetics, Faces is the first thing that I mention to them. I'm like, do you know what? This is the app that you need. This will support you in everything from down to your consent forms, to your ordering your prescriptions, speaking to other prescribers, etc. This is what you need. So download this.
Guys, you heard it here first. Dermapharm recommend Faces.
Definitely.
No, but I think what you mentioned about the sort of connecting with other people aspect is really important, because we know that the aesthetics industry can be a very lonely place. So we kind of try and create a community, to be honest. You know, we get calls from practitioners asking general questions about the industry, about products, and we want that to happen. You know, we want any practitioner or any person who uses Faces to feel like they are supported, not even just in terms of the app, but in terms of running their business, you know, helping out where we possibly can. You know, we're kind of the eyes and ears of the industry. You know, we kind of work with all of you guys, and you know, we want everyone to feel supported, as well as your clients as well.
And I do think that you have got everything there that gives that support, definitely. And I find it's so much easier having Faces there. I really, really do. And I don't ever feel as if there's something missing or this isn't quite right. I've never felt that way when using this. So definitely 10 out of 10 from me. It's absolutely brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Catherine. So just moving on to something a little bit more serious then. So obviously with regards to regulation, we don't know what is happening, but we have had the traffic light system released from the government, and the government are taking on feedback from everyone regarding everyone's thoughts on what should potentially happen. What's your stance on everything? Obviously you're a pharmacist, you're experienced in what you do, so what are your sort of personal views on what's been said?
I am totally welcoming these new regulations. I think they're kind of like, they're a little bit late coming, but thankfully they are coming into place. And I think the key thing is that we need to kind of realise is that in this industry, we need to all work to consistent high standards. There needs to be a consistency, and consumers, when they go to aesthetic places, they shouldn't have to worry that about the products that are being used, about the practitioner and how they are qualified, what the hygiene of the actual clinical space is going to be like. There has to be a consistency and a really high standard applied across the board, regardless of what background of training you come from. And I think the training academies also need to kind of revisit how they then train people. Because I think obviously we go on about medic, non-medic and things like that. It's got a lot to do with the actual training that they're actually given to begin with. And I think if that is reviewed and everybody is trained to the same standard and have the same kind of clinical and ethical skill set that everyone should have, it will be a much safer industry for everybody to work in. And it is quite scary that we are as unregulated as we are, because you have some practitioners who, like for myself, for example, I am registered with the GPHC. I have to abide by very, very strict rules when it comes to any aspect of pharmacy that I do, whether it's in this setting or whether I'm in community hospital, etc. So, you know, for example, if I'm ordering in products, I need to make sure that they are CE marked, they're insurable by my insurance company. I'm using products that are from a pharmacy. You know, I can't use non-regulated products, etc. Things like that. I've got to prescribe certain products if I'm administering it to people. But then you have the other aspect of aesthetic practitioners who don't have to do that and abide by them same rules. I mean, I'd love to be able to do IV drip therapy, but as a medic, I need to be on registered CQC premises.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was a non-medic, I wouldn't have to abide by that same rule, which is really unfair in a certain aspect, but the more so, it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous that is going on in this industry. So I totally welcome it, and I think it should happen. And I don't feel that it should limit anybody to doing aesthetics. What it should do is increase the standard that we all work to.
Yeah.
And that regardless of where our clients go to, they are in a safe environment, and whatever treatment they're going to have done is going to be effective for them, and we are using products that are safe for them to have been used on them.
Yeah. I think what you said around, you know, you've got the GPHC that you are assigned to, and so you know, there's so many rules that you have to and regulation, and I think that is what is lacking. It's, you know, anyone who's a non-medic doesn't have that. Like, there's no kind of accountability, and there's no consequences. You know, it's not like, oh, you might lose your pin. You know, there's none of that. There's nothing in place. So I think it's not like their fault at all, because
no, definitely not. No, I mean, like the whole regulations coming in, and the regulations coming in to me was also kind of a kickstart for me, for making sure that I had the prescribing under my belt as well, because not all pharmacists are prescribers. It is something that we go back to university to do. And to me personally, as a pharmacist, I think it's essential. If I'm doing aesthetics, I need to have that prescribing qualification with me, because if I was to encounter a complication, because complications can happen to anyone, whether you've got 20 years of experience or 2 years of experience, it does not matter. Complications can arise in any setting, but it's how you handle it afterwards, and how you recognize it, how you can get the right medications in place. That's all that matters, really, in making sure that patient is saved. So for me, that qualification was absolutely vital. And I think the non-medics need that additional support. So if we do have these regulations in place, everybody's going to be given a similar support to work with, and everybody's going to work to a very consistent, high standard, and that's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, it puts the clients in so much of a better position, because they're gonna know that they are safer and that everything is being done correctly. Obviously, there's a chance that things still might be not done as they should, but there will be consequences as and when that does happen. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that's a really good point to make. Just to finish on more of a positive note, where do you see Dermapharm going in the next 12 months, Yasmin? What have you got in store in terms of your treatment, growth, anything you want to mention?
To be honest with you, there's so many things I want to introduce. I do want to hopefully get my premises CQC registered. I do want to offer IV drip therapy as well. That is one that I really like to do. And to be honest, I mean, I do a little bit of treatments. I do a little bit of everything, really, when it comes to treatments. So I do want to do some more refresher courses, because I do feel as if in aesthetics, everybody has different ways of training. So it is really good to kind of dive back in and do refresher courses and learn new skills.
And go to different academies as well, and see, you know,
totally.
Pick up pearls of wisdom from everyone.
From everywhere. So I am thinking of maybe doing a couple of refresher courses, just to kind of see what new skills and you know, what people are offering out there. And I've just built up, well, with my husband's a senior web developer, so I've got that added support that he has built my website.
Wow.
So he's brilliant at what he does, and he has built my website for me from scratch, and it's absolutely amazing. So what I want to concentrate on now is maybe kind of creating more blog posts as well, and kind of getting like information out there, and kind of different stories, sharing different experiences that I've had in my clinical setting, so that when people are kind of on the internet and researching things, they can read about things in detail, and they can kind of look at different treatments that are out there. So that is one thing I really want to work on, is kind of my blog post on my website, and kind of get things out there a bit more.
Give your wisdom and your knowledge out, you know, I think. And
I'm a little bit shy when it comes to having myself on social media. That's always been a little bit of my downfall. But I think now is the time to kind of like get past that,
100%.
and put myself out there a little bit more. and discuss things in greater detail, and share kind of my knowledge that I have and my experiences as well. Because if it can benefit anyone, I'd love to be able to do that.
Amazing. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like often the next step is always become a training academy in order to give your knowledge, but you don't have to do that. You can literally, like you say, put content out that's educational to clients and practitioners, because all it does is it showcases your business and it showcases
I think
your knowledge.
I mean, I'd love to eventually have my own training academy. That is a goal that a lot of aesthetic practitioners have. But I think, personally, I feel you need to have a lot of years behind you before you dive into that kind of area of aesthetics, to be able to teach people when you still feel as if, actually, do you know what? I've still got a lot to learn, and I am still learning myself as a practitioner. It's not the safest way to go about it. So to me, in the long run, I'd say probably maybe 5 years plus, I would probably consider having my own academy and teaching different areas of aesthetics. But right now, I'm just comfortable with kind of continuing my learning and doing what I can.
Oh no, honestly, this chat's been so good, Yasmin. I feel really like inspired and happy after speaking with you. Thank you so much for coming on today. Cannot wait to see how you get on in the next 12 months. Obviously, when the regulation does come in, don't know when it will be, but eventually we can resume our chat and see where we are with everything.
Thank you so much for inviting me today.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.